The airport terminal hummed with chaos, a blur of hurried footsteps and muffled announcements, but Lily stood frozen, her heart pounding as she stared at the crumpled note in her hand. "I'm sorry, Lily. I couldn't stay," it read, scrawled in her grandmother's shaky script. The ink smudged as if tears had fallen while she wrote. She was gone, abandoned by her own family, left to wander the cold expanse of JFK International, and Lily was too late to save her. Lily's chest tightened, guilt and rage twisting like a storm inside her. She was only 28, but the weight of her family's betrayal made her feel decades older. Her grandmother, Eleanor, had been the only one who ever saw her, truly saw her, for who she was. A woman who loved fiercely, unapologetically, even when the world told her she shouldn't. Now, Eleanor was missing, and the family that had cast her out expected Lily to clean up their mess. She crumpled the note and shoved it into her jeans pocket, her hazel eyes scanning the terminal for any sign of the frail, silver-haired woman who'd raised her. Beside her, Emma squeezed her hand, grounding her. Emma, 30, with her short, wavy black hair and calm, steady presence, was the one constant in Lily's unraveling world. They'd been together for 3 years, their love a quiet rebellion against the small-town whispers of their upstate New York hometown. Emma's voice was soft but firm. "We'll find her, Lily. She's strong. She's a fighter just like you." Lily nodded, though doubt gnawed at her. Eleanor was 78, her health fragile after years of battling heart disease. The thought of her alone, confused, in this sprawling terminal made Lily's stomach churn. Her family, her parents, her aunts, her cousins, had always dismissed Eleanor as difficult, a woman too stubborn to bend to their rigid expectations. When Eleanor began showing signs of dementia, they saw it as an excuse to erase her. They'd driven her to the airport, claiming they were taking her to a care facility, but instead they left her with nothing but a suitcase and a one-way ticket to nowhere. "They didn't even tell me," Lily whispered, her voice breaking. "They knew I'd fight for her." She turned to Emma, her eyes brimming with tears. "Why didn't she call me? Why didn't she tell me she needed me?" Emma pulled her close, her cardigan soft against Lily's cheek. "She didn't want to burden you. You know how she is, always protecting you, even when she's the one who needs help." The terminal's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting harsh shadows on the tiled floor. Lily's mind raced, replaying memories of Eleanor's warm kitchen, where she'd spent her teenage years confessing her fears about coming out. Eleanor hadn't flinched. "Love is love, darling," she'd said, her blue eyes twinkling. "Don't let anyone tell you it's wrong." She'd been Lily's safe harbor, the one who stood by her when her parents turned cold, when her cousins sneered at her lifestyle, and now she was gone. Emma tugged gently at Lily's arm. "Come on. Let's check the gates. She can't have gone far." They moved through the terminal, weaving past hurried travelers and rolling suitcases. Lily's flannel shirt clung to her skin, damp with sweat despite the chilly air. She scanned every face, every corner, her heart leaping at every glimpse of silver hair. At gate 23 she stopped short. A small hunched figure sat alone on a bench, clutching a worn leather suitcase. "Eleanor." "Grandma." Lily's voice cracked as she ran to her, dropping to her knees. Eleanor's face, lined with age and worry, lit up with recognition, but her eyes were clouded, distant. "Lily? Oh, my sweet girl. You came." Lily wrapped her arms around her grandmother, tears spilling freely now. "Why didn't you call me? I would have come sooner." Eleanor's frail hand cupped Lily's cheek. "I didn't want to trouble you. Your mother, she said I was too much. Said I'd be better off somewhere else." Emma knelt beside them, her presence a quiet anchor. "You're not too much, Eleanor. You're family. And we're taking you home." Eleanor's gaze softened as she looked at Emma. "You're good to her, Emma. Always have been." Her voice trembled, but there was a spark of her old fire. "They don't understand, do they? What it means to love." Lily helped Eleanor to her feet, her heart aching at how light she felt, how fragile. The terminal seemed to fade around them, the noise dimming as they stood together, a small island of defiance against a world that had tried to tear them apart. But as they walked toward the exit, Lily's phone buzzed. A text from her mother. "Don't bring her back. She's not welcome." Lily's grip tightened on Eleanor's arm. She met Emma's eyes, a silent vow passing between them. They weren't just bringing Eleanor home. They were fighting for her, for their family, for the love that had always held them together. And no one, not even her own blood, would stop them. The drive back to upstate New York was quiet, the hum of the car's engine blending with the soft patter of rain against the windshield. Lily kept one hand on the wheel and the other resting on Emma's knee, stealing glances at Eleanor in the back seat. Her grandmother stared out the window, her hands folded neatly over the suitcase that held her entire life. Photo albums, a few dresses, and a locket Lily had given her when she was 10. The sight of her, so small and vulnerable, made Lily's throat tighten. Emma reached over, her fingers brushing Lily's. "You okay?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the rain. Lily shook her head, her jaw clenched. "They left her like she was nothing. My own family. How do you do that to someone you're supposed to love?" Eleanor stirred, her voice soft but clear. "They're scared, Lily. Scared of what they don't understand. Always have been." Lily's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, meeting her grandmother's gaze. "That's no excuse. They abandoned you. They lied to you." Eleanor sighed, her hands trembling slightly. "Your mother, she never forgave me for standing up for you, for telling her she was wrong to judge you. She said I was tearing the family apart." The words hit Lily like a punch. She'd known her parents disapproved of her relationship with Emma, their silence louder than any argument. But to punish Eleanor for it? To discard her like trash? It was unforgivable. "You're not the one tearing anything apart," Lily said, her voice fierce. "They are." Emma squeezed her hand, a silent reminder to breathe. "We'll figure this out, Lily. Together." When they reached Eleanor's small house in the Catskills, the rain had stopped, leaving the air heavy with the scent of pine and wet earth. The house was modest, its white paint peeling, but it was home. A place filled with memories of baking cookies, late-night talks, and Eleanor's unwavering love. Lily helped her grandmother inside, settling her into her favorite armchair by the window. Emma started a fire in the fireplace, the crackling warmth chasing away the chill. As Lily unpacked Eleanor's suitcase, she found a sealed envelope tucked inside. Her name was written on it in Eleanor's careful handwriting. "What's this?" she asked, holding it up. Eleanor's eyes twinkled, a hint of her old mischief returning. "Open it later, darling. It's a surprise." Lily frowned but set the envelope aside, her focus on making Eleanor comfortable. They spent the evening talking, reminiscing about summers spent gardening and winters curled up with old novels. But beneath the warmth, tension simmered. Lily's phone buzzed incessantly, texts from her mother, her aunts, her cousins, all demanding to know why she'd interfered. "She's not your responsibility," one message read. "Let her go." Emma read the messages over Lily's shoulder, her expression darkening. "They're unbelievable. Do they even care about her?" "They care about their image," Lily muttered. "About keeping things normal." That night, after Eleanor was asleep, Lily and Emma sat on the porch, wrapped in a blanket under the stars. The air was crisp, the sky a deep indigo. Emma leaned her head on Lily's shoulder, her voice soft. "You're doing the right thing, you know. She needs you. And you need her." Lily's eyes stung. I can't lose her, Emma. She's the only family I have who actually loves me." Emma turned to face her, her hands cupping Lily's face. "You have me too. Always." Their lips met, soft and slow, a promise sealed in the quiet of the night. For a moment the weight of the world lifted, and it was just them. Two women carving out a space for love in a world that tried to deny it. But the moment was fleeting. The envelope sat on the kitchen table, its contents a mystery that tugged at Lily's thoughts. The next morning, Lily's mother showed up unannounced. Susan stood in the doorway, her face a mask of disapproval. "You shouldn't have brought her back," she said, her voice cold. "She's a burden, Lily. You're too young to be tied down like this." Lily's hands clenched into fists. "She's not a burden. She's my grandmother. And she's more family to me than you've ever been." Susan's eyes narrowed. "You're making a mistake. You and her." She gestured vaguely toward Emma, who stood quietly in the background, her presence a silent support. "This isn't what I wanted for you." "Then maybe you don't know me at all," Lily shot back. "Get out." Susan left without another word. But her presence lingered like a storm cloud. Lily turned to the envelope, her hands shaking as she opened it. Inside was a letter, written in Eleanor's elegant script, and a legal document. Lily's breath caught as she read the words. Eleanor had left everything, her house, her savings, her entire estate, to Lily. Lily's hands trembled as she held the letter, Eleanor's words blurring through her tears. My dearest Lily, it began. You've always been my light. This world hasn't been kind to you, but you've loved with a courage I've never seen. This house, my savings, everything I have is yours. Build a life with Emma, one full of love, because that's what matters. The legal document was a will, signed and notarized, naming Lily as the sole heir. Eleanor had known her family was turning against her, and she'd chosen Lily to carry her legacy. Emma read over her shoulder, her breath catching. She did this for you. For us. Lily looked at her grandmother, who sat quietly in her armchair, watching them with a soft smile. Why didn't you tell me? Lily asked, her voice thick with emotion. Eleanor reached for her hand. I wanted you to know you're enough just as you are. I've lived my life, Lily. Now it's your turn. The weight of the gift settled over Lily like a warm blanket. But it came with a storm of complications. Her family would fight this. They'd already shown they'd stoop to abandoning Eleanor. There was no telling how far they'd go to claim what they thought was theirs. Lily's mother, Susan, had always coveted Eleanor's house, a quaint but valuable property nestled in the Catskills. The savings, modest but significant, were another prize they'd never let go without a fight. That afternoon, Lily and Emma sat at the kitchen table, the will spread out before them. We need a lawyer, Emma said, her practical side taking over. They're not going to let this go easily. Lily nodded, her mind racing. I know a guy from college, Mark. He's a lawyer in Albany. Specializes in estate law. She hesitated, her fingers tracing the edge of the document. But what if they try to say she wasn't in her right mind? Her dementia. Emma's eyes softened. We'll fight it. Eleanor's doctor can testify she was lucid when she signed this. And we have her letter. It's clear what she wanted. The next day Mark arrived, a lanky man with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. He reviewed the will, nodding approvingly. This is airtight, he said. But your family's going to make this messy. Be ready. He was right. By evening, Lily's phone was flooded with messages. Her aunt Linda accused her of manipulating Eleanor. Her cousin Tom called her selfish, claiming she was stealing their inheritance. Susan sent a single chilling text. You'll regret this. Lily's stomach churned, but Emma's steady presence kept her grounded. They spent the evening cooking dinner with Eleanor, trying to keep things normal. Eleanor told stories of her youth, of falling in love with Lily's grandfather, of fighting for her place in a world that didn't always accept her fire. I see myself in you, Lily, she said, her voice soft but strong. Don't let them dim your light. That night, as Lily and Emma lay in bed, the weight of the coming battle pressed down on them. Emma traced circles on Lily's palm, her voice a whisper. Whatever happens, we're in this together. You, me, Eleanor. We're a family. Lily kissed her, pouring all her fear and love into the moment. I don't deserve you, she murmured. Emma smiled, her eyes glinting in the moonlight. Yes, you do. And so does she. The next morning, the fight began in earnest. Susan and Linda showed up with a lawyer of their own, a slick man in a suit who claimed Eleanor's will was invalid due to her mental state. They demanded access to the house, citing family rights. Mark held his ground, presenting medical records and Eleanor's letter, but the tension was palpable. Susan's eyes burned with resentment as she looked at Lily and Emma, her voice dripping with disdain. You think you can just take everything? This isn't your story to write. Lily's heart pounded, but she stood tall, Emma's hand in hers. It's not about taking, Mom. It's about honoring what Grandma wanted. She chose me because she knows I'll protect her legacy. The lawyer scoffed, but Mark cut in, his voice calm but firm. We'll see you in court if it comes to that. But this will holds. As Susan and Linda stormed out, Eleanor watched from her armchair, her expression unreadable. When they were gone, she beckoned Lily over. You're stronger than I ever was, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Don't let them break you. Lily knelt beside her, tears streaming down her face. I won't, Grandma. I promise. The weeks that followed were a blur of legal battles and emotional strain. Lily and Emma turned Eleanor's house into a fortress of love, filling it with warmth to shield her from the chaos outside. But the family's attacks were relentless. Susan and Linda filed a lawsuit, claiming Eleanor's dementia rendered her incompetent to make the will. They painted Lily as a manipulator, twisting her love for Emma into something sinister to sway the court. Lily sat through depositions, her hands clenched under the table as her mother's lawyer grilled her about her relationship with Emma. "Isn't it true you influenced Eleanor to favor you because of your lifestyle?" the lawyer asked, his tone dripping with insinuation. Emma squeezed Lily's knee, her presence a lifeline. "My lifestyle is love," Lily said, her voice steady despite the rage bubbling inside. "Grandma supported me because she believed in me, not because I tricked her." Mark presented evidence, Eleanor's medical records, statements from her doctor, and the heartfelt letter she'd written. But the family's lawyer was ruthless, digging into Eleanor's past to paint her as unstable. They even brought up her support for Lily's coming out, twisting it into proof of her irrationality. At home, Eleanor's health began to falter. The stress of the lawsuit weighed on her, her moments of clarity growing fewer. One evening, as Lily helped her into bed, Eleanor gripped her hand. "I'm sorry, Lily," she whispered. "I didn't mean to cause all this." Lily's heart broke. "You didn't cause anything, Grandma. They did. And I'm going to make sure they don't win." Emma spent her days researching legal precedents, her nights holding Lily as she cried. They were a team, their love a quiet strength against the storm. But the pressure was mounting. Lily's cousins spread rumors in town, turning neighbors against them. The local paper ran a story, framing Lily as a greedy opportunist. Through it all, Emma remained her rock, her gentle smile a reminder that they were fighting for something bigger than themselves. One night, as they sat by the fire, Eleanor handed Lily a small box. Inside was the locket Lily had given her years ago, now holding a photo of Lily and Emma, their faces pressed close, smiling. "This is your inheritance too," Eleanor said. "Not just the house, not just the money, but the love you carry. Don't let them take that from you." Lily clutched the locket, tears spilling over. "I won't, Grandma. I promise." The court date loomed, and Lily felt the weight of it like a stone in her chest. Mark warned them it could go either way. The judge was conservative, unlikely to sympathize with their story. But Lily refused to back down. She and Emma prepared tirelessly, gathering character witnesses, neighbors who'd known Eleanor's strength and love. They found a nurse who'd cared for Eleanor, who testified to her clarity and determination when she'd signed the will. The night before the hearing, Lily and Emma stood in the backyard, the stars bright above the Catskills. Emma wrapped her arms around Lily, her breath warm against her neck. "No matter what happens tomorrow, we have each other," she said. "And we have her." Lily nodded, her heart full. "I love you," she whispered, the words a vow. "I don't know what I'd do without you." Emma smiled, her eyes shining. "You'll never have to find out." The courtroom was cold, the air thick with tension. Susan and Linda sat on the other side, their faces hard. The judge listened as both sides presented their cases, his expression unreadable. Lily took the stand, her voice steady as she spoke of Eleanor's love, her strength, her unwavering support. She held up the locket, her voice breaking. "This is what she gave me. Not just a house but a home. A place where love is allowed to exist." Emma testified next, her words calm but powerful. "Eleanor saw us for who we are. She didn't just give us her estate, she gave us her trust. Her belief that love is worth fighting for." As the judge called a recess, Lily's heart pounded. She reached for Emma's hand, their fingers intertwining. Whatever the outcome, they'd face it together. And they'd do it for Eleanor. The courtroom was silent as the judge returned, his face still unreadable. Lily's heart raced, her hand gripping Emma's so tightly her knuckles turned white. Eleanor sat behind them, frail but present, her presence a quiet strength. The judge cleared his throat, his voice echoing in the tense room. "After reviewing the evidence, I find that Eleanor Thompson was of sound mind when she executed her will. The estate is awarded to Lily Thompson, as per her grandmother's wishes." A gasp escaped Lily's lips, relief flooding her body. Emma pulled her into a hug, tears streaming down both their faces. Susan and Linda sat stunned, their lawyer muttering something about an appeal, But Lily didn't care. They'd won. Eleanor's love, her legacy, was theirs. As they left the courtroom, Eleanor took Lily's hand, her eyes bright despite her fragility. "I knew you'd do it, darling. I always knew." The victory was bittersweet. Eleanor's health continued to decline, and Lily and Emma devoted themselves to making her final days as joyful as possible. They filled the house with laughter, music, and love, turning it into the home Eleanor had always wanted for them. Neighbors, once swayed by rumors, began to visit, bringing flowers and stories of Eleanor's kindness. The town slowly softened, seeing the truth of their bond. One evening, as the three sat on the porch watching the sunset, Eleanor spoke softly. "I'm proud of you, Lily. And you, Emma. You've shown the world what love can do." Lily held her grandmother's hand, the locket warm against her chest. "You taught me how to fight for it, Grandma. You gave me everything." Eleanor smiled, her eyes drifting to the horizon. "Then I've done my job." Weeks later, Eleanor passed quietly in her sleep, her hand in Lily's. The grief was overwhelming, but Lily felt her grandmother's presence in every corner of the house, in every memory they'd shared. The will had given them more than property, it had given them a future. Lily and Emma decided to stay in the Catskills, turning Eleanor's house into a haven for others like them, a place where love could thrive without fear. They started a community center, offering support to queer youth and elderly folks abandoned by their families. The locket became a symbol, a reminder that love could endure even the darkest storms. Lily and Emma married in the backyard, under the same stars where they promised to fight for each other. The ceremony was small, filled with neighbors and new friends, a testament to the family they'd built. Years later, Lily stood in the garden, now blooming with flowers Eleanor had loved. Emma joined her, their hands still fitting perfectly together. "She'd be proud of us," Emma said, her voice soft. Lily nodded, her eyes on the horizon. "She is. She's with us always." The house stood as a beacon, a legacy of love that no one could take away. Eleanor had been abandoned, but she'd left behind something unbreakable. A family built on courage, defiance, and the unyielding power of love.